Hey, what's up everyone? This is John with GoWesty. I'm going to show you how to install a third brake light into the Vanagon. First thing we're going to do is open the rear hatch and use the alcohol prep pad to clean the top center portion of the glass. Remove the paper from the adhesive backing on the light and center it at the top of the rear window. You can use the center screw in the curtain track and the small clear bulb on the light for alignment. Be sure to firmly press the light onto the glass. I use a very small amount of super glue to keep the wire cleanly up against the light housing. Start tucking the wire inside the seal of the window, down towards the driver's side corner. Stop in line with the door to body boot and exit the wire from the window seal between the door and the curtain track. Use small dabs of super glue to adhere the wire to the flat of the door. The door to body boot has a small protrusion. Clip the end of this, as this is where we'll feed the wire into the vehicle. All vans have a large hole inside at the rear ceiling. This hole is easily accessible in full campers, but will be blocked by cabinetry in weekender models or plastics and AC surround in 7-passenger vans. In a weekender, use a coat hanger or a piece of wire to thread into the van and a pair of pliers to capture the other end. Once the wire has been ran, loop the end and attach the wire to the loop. Gently pull the wire through to the inside of the van, leaving a small amount of slack where the wire enters the boot. For all weekenders and 7-passengers, split the wire about 6 inches from the hole it exits inside the van. For full camper, the wire is split to a different length. We'll cover that in a second. The ground side is solid black, while the positive side has a broken white marker line. Clip the ground and crimp on the provided ringlet. Now use the uninsulated butt connector and shrink tubing and lengthen the positive wire by adding to it the portion that was just cut. Use a heat gun or a lighter to shrink the heat tubing. Depending on what type of van you have will depend on how this wire will be ran to the taillight. For campers with AC, run both wires down with the existing air conditioning lines. For full camper with AC, these parts of the cabinetry will need to be removed. Split the wires just above the Adele clamp and use the screw for a ground. Use the uninsulated connector and shrink tube to extend the positive side, which will be routed down the cabinetry with the AC lines into the area behind the taillight. If you have a 7-passenger with AC, remove the plastic panels, ground the wire near the exit hole, and run the positive wire down the side panel. Exit it into the area behind the taillight through the rubber boots at the bottom of the panel. If you have a 7-passenger without AC, we recommend carefully pulling the headliner back to access the hole in the roof and grounding the screw near the exit hole. On all vans without AC, you will need to drill a small hole to run the wire outside the inner skin. Full campers will have a trim panel covering the area you'll need to drill through. Just drill through both panel and metal. For this weekender, I drill a 3/16 hole in the upper opening of the panel. Feed the wire through the grommet and then out through the hole. Use the self-tapping screw to ground the light. I put the ground in this weekender next to the grommet hole. Pick up the wire outside the van by removing the vent cover and continue feeding it down into the area behind the taillight. This process is the same for 7 passengers without AC, along with full campers without AC. Remove the taillight from the van and grab the wire from the third brake light. Peel back the boot, disconnect the plug from the light assembly, and feed the positive wire from the brake light through the boot. You can use the red tap and run to splice into one of the red-black wires, or for a higher quality and more professional installation, release the black with red tracer wires from the plug with a pick or small screwdriver. Cut the connector and strip the ends of both wires. Cut the third brake wire to length here and strip the end of that as well. Join all 3 wires together and crimp them in the supplied connector. Insert the new connector back into the stock plug and plug it back into the taillight. Reinstall the taillight assembly into the van and test for proper function.